Dude and I ended up going out. We finally ended up going out this past Saturday night, okay? And it was like late. I met him at maybe like 10:15 because his shift didn't end until 10. So we met at like 10:15. He was tired. I could tell he was tired. He didn't really want to go far. So because of the area in which he works, which is the Mount Washington Village area, in my mind, when he asked me, well, what do you want to get to eat? I didn't want to choose one of the pizza or sub or chicken places in the area because he's around all that all day. So I suggested that we go and get sushi because there's a sushi bar sitting right there that I haven't been to in 8 years, and I figured it would be a break away from what he's used to. So I suggested let's go and get sushi. So he looks at me and he's just like, well, what makes you think I want sushi? And I said, well, I mean, you don't want sushi? He's like, so I guess you think I like noodles and rice too. So I was just like, no. I said, I really just suggested it because I figured you wouldn't want to go to any of the other places since you're around that kind of food all day. So he's like offended. And I kind of in my mind was like, okay, I can see why he would be offended since, he's Asian, I'm black, and here I am suggesting we go and get sushi. So I didn't want him to think that I was trying to stereotype him, and I could tell he was upset, so I apologized. So I did my little Zimmy Bear voice, and I was like, I'm sorry, trying to ease the situation. So he kind of smiled a bit, and he was like, no, he's like, it's cool, we can go. So we go in, and we sit down, and the waitress brings us our water, and before I even had a chance to look at the menu, he's like, oh, you can bring me da 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 da, and he lists 3 different things that he wanted. So I kind of look at him like, well, damn, I'm not even ready. So the waitress looks at me and she's like, well, are you ready to order? And I was like, no, I'm gonna need some time. I hadn't been there in 8 years. So he tells the waitress, it blew my mind. He says, well, you can go ahead and put my order in, and whenever he's ready, then, he can place his, but just bring my food now. What? So I'm kind of feeling some type of way, but then I kind of excuse it because I was like, you know what? Maybe he's still just a little upset because of what I said earlier. So I started looking at my menu, and I'm looking at the menu trying to find something I want. In the back of my mind, I'm thinking I was going to get volcano rolls and maybe some chicken teriyaki, but I just wanted to see what they had, you know what I mean? So I'm looking at the menu, and I could feel him staring at me. I could just feel him staring at me, but I'm still not really wanting to make eye contact because I was kind of pissed off, And he says to me, what are you? Just like that. He's like, what are you? And I'm like, what am I? What do you mean? He's like, yeah, what color are you? And I'm thinking are you serious? And I said, I'm black. He's like, no, you're not all the way black. He's like, why are your eyes green? I said, dude, I'm black. He's like, so both of your parents are black? Yes, both of my parents are black. And so sarcastically, very sarcastically, I say, do you want to see a picture? And he says, and he's dead serious, and he's like, yes, dude, I don't carry pictures of my parents in my wallet. And even if I did, I'm not going to pull out a picture of my parents to prove to you that I'm completely black. Yes, both of my parents are black. I'm light-skinned. I was born with green eyes. I don't know. I don't know. But you don't question someone's ethnicity or race, especially not your first time really being around them. To me, that's just rude. So, I'm pissed off. I'm really, I cannot believe he's just acting like this. So the waitress comes back over and she asks me, have you figured out what you want? And I was just like, no. I said, but you know what? You can bring me a drink. I asked her to bring me a glass of Chardonnay because I needed something to ease my nerves and stop me from jumping across the table and burning his ass with the candle that was sitting between us. I was that upset, So I'm sitting there, and his phone rings. And he doesn't say, well, excuse me, I gotta take this call, it's important. He just answers his phone, and he's on the phone, and I could tell it was his boss or somebody over at Pepe's because they were talking about boxes in the back and bags and blah, blah, blah. So I'm just sitting there kind of at that point, that's when I wanted to get on my cell phone and start tweeting and twittering to tell y'all what was going on. But I said, no, I'm not going to be rude. I'm just going to sit here and chill. I really wanted to Twitter and let you guys know just how terrible things were starting off, but I didn't. I opted not to. He gets off the phone, and he looks at me, and he's just like, so what do you do? Just like that. So what do you do? And I was like, what do you mean, job-wise? And he's like, yeah, what do you do? And I said, I'm a blogger. And he looked like, what do you mean, you're a blogger? What is that? And I said, Like, I have my own website. I post different stories related to entertainment, news, politics, relationships, things like that. So he sits back and like looks at me and he was like, well, that's not a real job. What? Are you kidding me? He's like, well, that's not a real job. He's like, well, what else do you do? I said, that is what I do. I blog. And he said, oh. And I'm like really offended because here you are, 28 years old, still delivering pizza and subs and chicken. And granted, that's your hustle. That's what you do. And you make money doing it to keep yourself together. And I respect any man who takes care of himself. Whatever it is that you do it well, But I could have come out of my mouth and said in return, well, do you plan on being a pizza delivery guy for the rest of your life? But I didn't say that. No, I didn't go there. I didn't do that. So that's why I thought it was so rude for him to come at me like that. So at that point, the waitress comes and she brings my drink and I'm over it. Like, I'm over it. And I said, you know what? I said, I'm sorry, I apologize. You're gonna have to take that back. I'm not staying. And he looks at me and he's like, what do you mean you're not staying? I said, I'm leaving. I'm leaving. This is my first time in my life. This is the first time in my life I have ever met someone who has offended me or bothered me so much on the first date that I had to really pick myself up out the situation and go. And so I left. And I didn't feel bad about it. I didn't think twice about it. I got in my car, I turned on the music, and I just went for a ride. And while I'm riding, I'm thinking like, what is it that I said or did wrong to really set him off in such a way? Or is this how this dude really is? So I left. I came home after I took like maybe an hour ride and I went to bed. Didn't hear from him, all day Sunday, and then last night, Sunday night, for those of you following me on Twitter, remember that I said that, he kept calling my phone. All of a sudden, he's just like calling my phone over and over and over again, and then I wasn't going to reply. I had nothing to say. Like, I literally had nothing to say to him. And I wake up this morning with a text message, him saying to me, I apologize for the way I acted Saturday. I was really going through some things at the job. Please give me a second chance to make this up to you, da-da-da-da-da. And I didn't reply. So I called one of my female friends, the one who I told about the date, and I told her what happened. I read her the text message, and she suggests, honestly, that I go out with him a second time. And I'm just like, no. You know what I mean? No. Because it's not that, I understand him being upset about my initial commentary offering the whole sushi thing. And maybe I can sort of look over him asking me what color I was or what have you and not believing me when I told him. But the fact that you downplay what I do for a living, my passion, what I wake up 7 o'clock in the morning every day and do, for you to downplay that and tell me that's not a real job and you're 28 years old delivering pizza? Like, I'm offended by that. I'm really offended by that because I'm opening myself up to try something new with someone new, a totally new experience, and you're judging me. And so I can't get past that. And maybe I'm wrong for that. Maybe I'm wrong for not wanting to give him a second chance, but it's like I'm at a place now where I don't even think I could positively look at him. But I don't know. I mean, am I wrong? Like, if you were in my position and everything that I just described happened to you when you were out on a first date, this is the first date with somebody, and they ask for a second chance, would you open up and give them a second chance? Honestly, tell me the truth, because I read your comments. I know you guys don't think I do, but I really do. I read all your comments. Weigh in, let me know. And in the meantime, subscribe to the VanAdams videos. Thank you so much for those of you, the thousands of you every single day. Hit my blog, look at my links, read all the stories I post at VanAdams.com. If you are not already following me on Twitter, please do so that you can keep up to date with what goes on in my life day in and day out when situations like this arise and I'm tweeting about them. And let's continue to conquer this journey together, socialites and my celebutants, conquering the world, one word at a time. Bye! Bye!
So many obstacles try to weigh me down.